It's a surprise why we picked Sweden, because it hasn't participated like in warfare since 19th century, and it stayed neutral during the First and Second World Wars. But when we tried to research it, we surprisingly found that lots of efforts were put into defensive engineering there, because staying neutral is a very hard task when all the world goes apart around you, and you can be attacked from both sides of the conflict. And that's why they had their own tank building schools, which were very unique. They were preparing for defensive combat against outnumbering enemies, and they were using lots of high-tech innovation stuff in their machines. So when we saw all of that, we just understood that it was the correct nation to be the next, because they were looking very different from what we have in World of Tanks, and they were behaving. They were having really interesting features which we could implement in new gameplay features for our players and bring in something special, something really new. It's it's not quite easy, but it's a very common work for us. We have a department of historical consultants who are former military guys, former museum work, like historians, etc., etc., and they have lots of connections, lots of networking around the world. They have access to many archives around the globe in different historical societies, etc. So they went to Sweden, they went to the museums, they had all these materials, they localized them, translated into English, Russian, to analyze what went in terms of development. And I don't think it was something more difficult than researching Japanese tech tree, because with Japanese we even had a contract with a private family who were the holders, the owners of the blueprints of the heavy tanks. So their family for many generations possessed these blueprints as a private ownership. So we had a contract, and they provided us with blueprints to recreate these machines. So with Sweden it was pretty much easier. Thanks to the improved physics of movement, which was introduced in 9.14 update in the beginning of the year, we had a chance to make the correct realization of this suspension mechanism. So we, by that time, in the beginning of the year, we already had all the information on Swedish tanks, and we just understood that it's just perfect match. And right now we can start working on this suspension mechanism. So right now our game balance and development team is working really hard on the prototyping of this mechanism to be good from game balancing side and gameplay side. So to bring new functionality, something very new like French tanks in our game, and from the other side not to break the balance between other nations. So right now we can say that the top tires, like 8, 9, 10 tires of tank destroyers of Swedish nation, will be very unique, very interesting. They will have this mechanism of controlling your tank using hydraulics, and also they have very interesting armoring, frontal armor with really huge angles of positioning with really ricochet front side, and players will be able potentially to control it, to make it to have some defenses by controlling this suspension. And also there were many other technical things in Swedish tanks. They had auto loaders, they had loading mechanisms with huge cartridges for like 20 shells or something like that. They had Swedish tank destroyers had speed going backwards and forwards almost equal. The same, it's very interesting mechanics for tank destroyers. so they can change position very dynamically, and they are very low on profile and small, and that's why they're having like very good parameter of camouflage. So it could be a really good hunter in our game.